spending his 25th minute of fame on Capitol Hill. The plumber they call Joe, today meeting with the Conservative Working Group, which is made up of Washington staffers who develop GOP strategy for the week. Hear that? They developed the strategy for the GOP, and he is their leading speaker today. Samuel Wurzelbacher, a.k.a. Joe the Plumber, fresh off his gig as a war correspondent in Gaza, where he covered the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Before that, of course, he became a household name after asking then-candidate Barack Obama about his tax plan. So why have Republicans, who are in the middle of debating an economic stimulus bill, called for the plumber? Again, we called the RNC and requested that they make someone available to us to speak with us about this, including Michael Steele, the former Fox News contributor and current head of the RNC. They couldn't provide us with anyone. So kind enough to join us today is Terry Holt, a former RNC advisor himself and press secretary for the Bush-Cheney campaign in 2004. Is it kind of funny? Or, I mean, why do you go to Joe the Plumber for information about how to plan your week, strategize, I suppose, on the stimulus?
Well, yeah, I applaud the conservatives in the House for reaching out to somebody that's from Middle America and that understands the real problems that people face out there, because I think Republicans, while they're out of power, are really serious about reconnecting with the American people and reorienting their values. And I don't see a thing wrong with it. In fact, I think it's kind of a good habit to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we ought to have a Joe the Plumber.
A Joe the
Plumber coalition.
Do you remember the word you used with our booker about what you thought of them listening to Joe the Plumber on this issue?
Well, I'm concerned about any time somebody, I'm sure reporters, when they saw Joe in Gaza, thought, well, he's not a reporter. What the heck is he doing there? There may be some Republican advisors around town who've spent quite a bit of time working on these kinds of issues that wonder, well, why is Joe the Plumber coming? Maybe it's a bit of a publicity stunt. But it's the kind of publicity that the minority needs. I mean, they need to get your attention.
Well, what the minority is doing, Terry, with great respect, the minority right now, the Republicans, are trying to develop strategy for the next week. That's what this group does. The last real announcement that I remember,
I'm not sure that's what...
Well, that's what the intro said.
I'm not sure that's what this group does.
Well, that's what it says here. A.K. Joe the Plumber is meeting with conservatives on Capitol Hill today. Listen to the last thing he gave us clarity on.
A vote for Obama is a vote for the death to Israel. I'll guarantee you that.
Well, you know what? Actually, I'll go ahead and agree with you on that one. No, I agree with you.
I mean, that's the last thing he gave us advice on. We really want to listen?
You know, it's clear that this gentleman from Ohio is not the sophisticated media spokesperson that you or Michael Steele or some of us might be. He's going to make some mistakes like this. But, you know, I think that it would be a good thing, Shep, tell me if I'm wrong, if Republicans and Democrats invited real people to the Hill to hear what they thought. And I hope, you know, I will disclaim him unless he says something like this stimulus package ought to be a lot smaller and it ought to be full of a lot more tax cuts. If he doesn't say that, then I think they certainly ought to ignore his advice.
Sot number two. So as long as he says what you want to hear, he's a good one to listen to. Listen to what else he said. Oh, this is a quote. Joe the Plumber, I haven't been telling people to go out and vote. Listen, you don't want my opinion on these things. I know just enough about foreign policy to be probably dangerous. He actually said that on tape. But I mean, I just wonder, if you're reaching out to the average Joe, why are the Republicans continuing to use Joe the Plumber in this way after all that they went through with Joe the Plumber?
Well, he's famous. He's gotten our attention today, hasn't he? I mean, on a day when we're really talking about the Obama presidency in meltdown, our stimulus package, the wheels are coming off of the stimulus package because nobody's really working on it. You got pretty angry in the last segment about the banks, and you're right, Joe the Plumber on the Hill, it's a little superfluous.
The computer's taking us out. Thank you, pal. Good to see you.